Hello and welcome to the Party Center Speaks podcast. This is the podcast for family entertainment center and event venue owners, operators, managers, and staffers looking to grow their businesses. Want to learn more about increasing booking parties, improving facility operations, and more? Then this podcast is for you. My name is Nydia Milton, and I am the Client Relationship and Marketing Coordinator here at Party Center Software. In this episode of Party Center Speaks, we'll explore the world of franchising. How exciting! And we'll cover how one indoor playground owner is expanding her brand in a big way. I'd like to introduce my guest on today's podcast, Emma McNeil. Emma is the founder and CEO of PlayPalz Indoor Playground. This is an indoor playground in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that is designed for children 0 to 6 and their caregivers. So Emma has always been dedicated to working with children, and with a unique blend of purposeful play and engaging programming, the PlayPalz brand has been able to bring vibrant and engaging indoor playgrounds that inspire joy and creativity in children. Emma, welcome to our podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Awesome. So let's start with the big picture. What inspired you to start PlayPalz?
So when my son was born, it was 2020. There really wasn't a lot of things for him to do developmentally, and it was hard to find anywhere that you could go that would just offer open play, at least where I am. Or if you did, you went to like a trampoline park where you had 12-year-olds pouncing on your 1-year-old.
Yeah.
So it was very hard to find anywhere like that. So we just came up with the vision of creating a safe place for our son to have a place to play. And that's kind of where PlayPalz blossomed from, was just a vision for my own kid. And I was never planning on franchising, just wanted to have a place locally. But it just all blossomed off not being able to have the place for my kiddo to go. And we wanted to offer a place that was safe. Main priority was safety, and you couldn't find that for a young child. And then cleanliness was a big thing that was for us. And most places that you went were kind of gross. And then fun. I mean, and that's our motto: safe, clean, fun. It's kind of what we live by. And that's kind of how it came, was just based off of mom wanting to have needs for herself and for her own kid, because my dad was an entrepreneur, and I wanted to be like him, and I wanted to own my own business. And I had kind of already owned a women's boutique, and my son went to work with me. So I worked with my son, and I wanted to provide a place where people could work with their children and make it more accessible. I mean, we're a kid world where, you have to make it where everybody's accessible and can work from home, is kind of pretty much what I want to do, but not tear up your house because you have to clean it all.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that makes sense. Wow. So it really started with your own needs, and you figured other people may need this too, and you branched out. Wow. So then you said you never really planned on franchising from the beginning, but how or when did you know that your brand was ready to franchise and grow?
It's a great question. For me, I don't think that anyone ever really knows when they're ready to grow. It just is kind of developed. And I'm a believer, and I felt like it was God's way of just telling me, like, hey, it's time to take this to the next level. We had a lot of people approaching us saying, gosh, we love this place. It would be great to have it in our city. I grew up, like I said, my dad's a small business owner. He was in a franchise for a while that I was the manager of his business for a long time. And I just didn't love like the franchise aspect, because the franchise that he had was very poor, treated him very poorly and wasn't very helpful. So when people started telling me I should look into franchising, I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, you know what, you have the advantage because you know what it's like to be in a poor program versus being, in a great program, and you know exactly what you don't want to provide for your clients. So you should definitely do it. You have the experience, what a business wants, and you've been in that position versus being in a great environment where, what someone doesn't want, and you know how to help them. So that's just kind of where it came off, is someone gave me the idea. I talked to my dad about it, and then my favorite part of the whole business is watching it develop and grow. And it's my playground. We're always constantly changing, but my playground was on, a place where it was ready to sit and we weren't doing much. So I wanted a new adventure, and here we are.
Yep, and there you are. And it's interesting that you said no one really knows when they're ready. And I think that's true and transferable to a lot of different aspects of life. And just from going through that, when somebody, like you said, somebody gave you the idea, you talked to your dad about it, and now PlayPalz has such a clear brand. Well, it's always had a clear brand and mission, but it does have one, and the aesthetic is really strong too, even across all the franchises. So what were some of the first steps that you took after you talked to your dad, you had this suggestion, and you're like, okay, we're going to do this. So what were some of the very first steps that you took when you were taking that route?
It sounds crazy. I read the book Franchising for Dummies. Someone actually told me to read that book, and I read a lot of different franchising books. And it's a very complicated, expensive process to go through. There's some things that I would totally do differently now. But I used a local attorney, fantastic group, and they helped me develop my franchise disclosure document. That took almost a year to get developed. It's a very long, lengthy, and expensive process. It takes a lot of, I guess, willpower. They always say if you can build a house with your husband, you can survive a marriage. In my opinion, if you can open a franchise with the husband, your marriage will survive. It's a very long process, but so we work with a local attorney, and they got us in the right direction. I actually developed my own operations manual, and within a year and a half, we signed our first franchise, and we were actually opening that franchise to begin with. And then we had a wonderful couple come in and wanted to open and finish out the project. And so they've been open for almost a year now. Our playground, actually, my time hop showed where the playground got delivered 2 weeks ago, last year. And so they've been open for almost a year now, and it's been a really fun, exciting adventure. And I mean, I guess that's just kind of the way we got set up into it. Was we just took it day by day. A lot of people want to grow like the franchise very quickly, and that's just not for me. We want to make sure that we're building a solid brand. And so we've just taken it very slowly compared to like a lot of aspects of how people do it. And we didn't know that there was franchise advisors, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know until I went to a franchise convention in actually this year. So we've learned a lot this year. And so now we have a new franchise advisory group that we just hired to come in and like help us make sure that we have everything set up in what's best for our franchisees and what's best for us as well. So we kind of did it a different route than most people do it, but didn't have a lot of education on it, I guess is the best way to say it.
That makes sense. And it's funny that you said you read the Franchising for Dummies book first. That's hilarious.
It's actually a great book. If you're ever interested in franchising, it's a great book. And I'm not usually into those like for dummies books, but it's actually a pretty good book. I have now read over, I think I counted 200 different like business or franchising books since I started this whole journey.
Oh, wow.
I've read 12 this year. So.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And so with that, other than reading up and maybe reaching out to local people that can help, what advice would you give to other FEC owners thinking about franchising, or even what are some more things that you wish you knew from the start? You listed a few, so what are any more?
I would say if you're not, like, my best advice is if you're not willing to work 90-hour weeks, then it's not for you.
Oh, wow.
It sounds crazy. If you've got the money, you can hire people to help develop it. But if you're a small business like me, you need to be prepared to put in the work. I actually just made a funny TikTok last night. It's like the people, where they introduce their whole entire staff, and it's them like spinning in the chair. It introduces their marketing team, their CEO, their photographer, like all the different positions. And my husband helped me make it last night. And it's literally like every time the chair spins, I'm in a different outfit. with a different role. And like, that's the perfect way to describe how starting a franchise works. You have to be prepared for it to become your life. And if you're not prepared for that and you're not willing to give it your all, then it's just not worth it, because it's such an expensive process to start that you have to be ready to dedicate yourself. And that's like, I went to the IFA convention this past year, is what I was talking about earlier. It's so great to meet people that are as dedicated as you. And I will say, like, that was the first like year and a half I felt so alone. And it's important to find like a group of people that are as dedicated and that stuff's as important to them as it is to you. So my best advice would not be to do it alone, would be to, one, be prepared to work an extremely insane amount of hours. You could be in Disney World standing in line for Guardians of the Galaxy and you have to answer a phone call. Been there, done that. And then two would be to just make sure that you find a good support system, that in a good mentor that's, been there and done that. So that was the two things that I feel like I didn't do the best at the beginning. And now that I have it, I actually really enjoy it a lot more.
Oh, wow. That's really great advice, actually. And I'm sure it's going to feel really helpful to people who are going through this. And they're like, it's just kind of a reminder, like, be prepared for hard work, but you don't have to work it alone. And so with that, what are some of the challenges you face when replicating your PlayPalz or franchising them?
I think that it's a challenge to, when you've opened your own and you've made all the decisions for yourself and for your business, adding new people in that have opinions, it's been my most difficult challenge. And that's actually why I ended up bringing an advisory group along, was just to, support me and my decisions or tell me when I'm wrong. So for me, the hardest part was bringing other people in, because entrepreneurs have this, someone told me this at the IFA convention, entrepreneurs, there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. And entrepreneurs have this sense of like, they have all these new ideas and they always want to try something new. They always want to develop something new. And business owners like consistency. And I am more on the entrepreneur side. And I have, like I said, I had to bring people in to help me like reel myself in, to say like, you need to focus on this, or you need to focus on that, or being able to bounce ideas off of without having to just talk to like my franchisees all the time about it, and to make sure that we're handling stuff certain ways or certain things like that. And not that we weren't doing that. It's just, I think that it's my biggest challenge was letting people in and letting people help. And just because, like I said, I have this entrepreneurial mindset. And so that was my biggest challenge, was letting people help me. And it's something that I really needed to overcome. And it's made my life a lot less stressful. I was suffering from severe headaches, and they have all but dissipated without medication, because my life is not as stressful as it was when I was doing it all by myself.
Yeah, well, now life is less stressful. Your franchises are established. How would you say, well, you said it been a really fun adventure. So how would you say franchising has ultimately impacted your business overall, for better or worse? But it seems like it's going to be better.
So I can go two ways with this. We'll start with the worst. Overall, like, the thing that I think people don't understand, and I think that I wish more people did understand, is just because it's a franchise doesn't mean that it's some large corporation like Target or Walmart or things like that. I think people misunderstand the idea of franchising. Yes, there is a corporate like bigwig that is, not if you're small like me, I'm not making any money, but I will maybe hopefully one day. All I'm doing is investing money right now. But you do have that aspect of it. But every single franchise that you are supporting is supporting a family. It's supporting a business owner. And I don't think that a lot of people remember that. They just think that, oh, well, I don't want to support that because they're a big company. No, like, we're still a small, like, each person that owns a location for us is a small business owner. It's not like a big corporate location and you are focused on still supporting small business. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people misinterpret about franchising is it's still small businesses. And that's what I love about it, is because I love helping other families be successful. And so I think that that's the biggest thing that people misunderstand with franchising. And that's been like our biggest hurdle. And they just want to go straight to corporate or whatever. And I'm like, okay, can we try to work out this issue with, like, keep in mind you're dealing with a family, like, let's see what they can do to help you. So I think that's an important, and it's been one of our biggest challenges. The things that have made us succeed, I mean, just growing, the amount of people my favorite part of all of it is the amount of people I've met. You're talking people in all walks of life. You're talking people that have been in franchising for 30 years, or franchise people like me that have been in franchising for 2 years and still don't know what they're doing. Which I mean, that's not to say I don't know what I'm doing. I definitely do know what I'm doing, but I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I definitely know more than the average Joe, but it's just, you get to meet so many different people. And another thing that I realized is, just because you're in franchising, like, you would think, okay, so example, you have like Hilton hotels, and then you have like, I forgot what Holiday Inn's franchise, like corporate thing is, but you have those two brands right there. And you would think that they like battle it out. Okay. Everyone thinks that same thing. You have like Wendy's that and Wendy's will pick on people all the time on Twitter. It's just a fun marketing mechanism. But you would think someone like Wendy's and McDonald's, like, they hate each other. You go to these expos, they're all like best friends. That everyone gets along. Everyone wants to support each other. It's a wonderful community. And I'm very excited to see where our business grows with franchising, because not only are we working together as, a group of our franchise and trying to build our franchise better, but there's other people out there that are your competition that still want to help, just so you don't make the same mistake. And so I think that that's been something that's beneficial. We've had a couple of trampoline parks help give us some great advice on, how to deal with different situations and things like that. And I think that's where I'm excited to see where our future grows, is working with other brands and seeing how it helps develop our brand.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I did just speak with someone else who mentioned she doesn't even view anyone near her as a competitor. They're just all local businesses helping. And when she was building she kind of has like 10 different attractions in her FEC. And she wanted to make sure that there was a bowling alley, a skating rink near her, because she didn't have those things. And hey, they can piggyback off of each other. And it's more working together. And like how you said, these people are together, maybe getting lunch together. They're buddy versus when, the customers, the guests, people who really aren't on that end of it, don't always know. So
yeah, there's an indoor playground about 30, 40 minutes from mine. And the owner brings her kids up here all the time. And we just kind of like trade like that out, because it's nice to be able to get away from your business for like you to be able to enjoy time with your kids. Because when you're at your business, you're just working. You can't just enjoy yourself like with your kids. Like, I honestly, this sounds really bad to say, I hate when my kids' friends have birthday parties here, because all I'm doing is working in the back of my head. I cannot enjoy myself. And so I don't ever really view, and you're going to have people that are, and I keep interrupting myself with my own thoughts. I don't ever view anyone as competition until you get to that point where someone is disrespectful. And I would tell you, I've only ever encountered that maybe 2 times out of all the places I've been, of where people are not respectful of their quote unquote competition. They see them more as friends, and we typically help support each other if we can.
Amazing. And I love how intentional you've been with growing PlayPalz and everything that you've done. And my last question for you is, what do you think just overall has made your brand so appealing, that franchising was successful, that guests want to visit? What about PlayPalz do the people just love?
So kind of goes back to our motto. Our number one priority is safety. We prioritize safety, not to say things aren't going to happen, but it's our priority. And we're always trying to make sure things are up to date and just a fun time for the kids, but also making sure that they're not getting hurt. So like I said, our motto is kind of what puts us above and beyond, because I've gone to a number of places where it's not safe, and then, I mean, again, we're not always going to be perfect, but we definitely strive to be perfect. And I know that we're not always going to be perfect. And then our second place is the cleanliness. I mean, we are always cleaning. Always cleaning. Again, not to say you're not going to find a mess, because you're working with children.
Right.
I could clean something and then 5 seconds later it's going to be dirty again. But our facility is constantly being cleaned. There's always someone in here cleaning the facility. There's always something being done. We have checklists that make sure that every square inch of the building gets touched, like every single week. And so it may not get touched daily, but I mean, we really prioritize it. We clean our ball pits at a minimum of once a week. And I know a number of places that don't clean their balls, and cleaning ball pits makes a big difference, because I mean, they're gross. I mean, you could not even imagine. We clean them at least once a week, and we still find just like the weirdest things in the ball pits. I mean, absolutely
Wow.
weirdest things. And then we prioritize our fun. And I think that really sets us apart. And then the other thing is, we try to have a very simple, we didn't try to go over the top with like our theming or our aesthetic or anything like that. We tried keeping it simple, where it would match all joys of life and all the things that the kids are celebrating. We went back and forth between doing themes at different locations, and ultimately just decided, I mean, you don't want to have a Paw Patrol birthday party in the middle of like an ocean themed playground, or things like that. So I think that really has our advantages. We stuck to the simple pink and blue, boy girl color and white, and just stuck with the neutral colors to just try to help make an overall fun environment where we can create just any type of memory that a child wants.
I love that. I love that. Amazing insights. And thank you, Emma. And congrats on all of your success so far. We're happy to see we're happy to see where PlayPalz goes from here.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate your time.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to this episode of Party Center Speaks. I hope that what we shared was useful today for your family entertainment center, event venue, anywhere, everywhere. If you have any feedback, please, or any topics, please feel free to give us an email at marketing@partycentersoftware.com. This is a weekly podcast, so you can expect new episodes on Thursday. Party Center Speaks is powered by Party Center Software. We are a facility management tool that helps family entertainment centers and event venues book more parties and manage their facilities. We also offer marketing services such as website design, digital advertising, and SEO services, marketing automation, social media assistance, and so much more to help you expand your reach and grow traffic. If you'd like to know more about us or our vendor program, head over to partycentersoftware.com and be sure to give us a follow on all social media. Until next time, thanks for listening. All right, and I'll stop the recording there. Well, thank you, Emma, for joining me. And sorry about the whole Zoom stuff, but...
Oh, no. I hope that I answered all that well, because like now I go back and I start thinking like I could have answered this way.
Oh, it was perfect. You gave plenty of insight. This is perfect.
Okay, good. I was like, I think I could have answered that differently. Okay, well, if y'all ever need me for anything else, I'm not usually this difficult to get a hold of.
All good. All good. I'm glad you were here today.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Bye.